sorry I'm 45 minutes late. I'm going to try to cram in the last 5 minutes really fast. I mean, these are some pretty easy lessons. Hey, excuse me? Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. What's your name?
Fiona.
Sorry, Frankie, we're not done yet today. We're going to start class.
Everyone else already left.
But you're still here. Let's start. Today, we're going to do Driving 101 with Dr. Ryan. First lesson of the book is reaction time. To be a good driver, you have to have a good reaction time. Yeah! See? Your reaction time's horrible. You can't drive. Today, we're going to teach you what reaction time is. What is reaction time? The amount of time it takes to react in a situation. Your reaction time was horrible. There's very many ways where you can test reaction time. The first one is with the ruler. Catch the ruler. Pretty good. Try again. Very good. One more time. Horrible. All right. So when you're driving, you have to have very good reaction times because if you're in a car and somebody shouts, "Stop!" or a kid runs out into the road, you have to be able to brake very fast. You hear? So now that we got the basics done, we're going to get into the more interesting things, which is accuracy versus precision. When it comes time to measure things, we use our units. The most important units in driving are length and time. Length here in Panama is measured in meters, whereas in the States it's measured on the imperial system where they use miles. There's a big difference when it comes to this, so it's important to know your conversions. Approximately 1 American mile would be about 5,280 feet. That's a lot. So anyways, you need to know how to measure properly because when it comes time to driving, you need to have like a safe distance between the car in front of you and the car behind you. Well, the car behind you has a safe difference from you. But anyways, when you have a safe difference from the car in front of you, it's important to know that you need to stay farther away from them the faster you're going because their reaction time when they stop to when you react can be really bad. You could just run into the back of them. So it's very important to know. When driving, it's important to also know the prefixes to some of these units, usually in length. For instance, kilometer is 1,000, deci is 0.01, and milli is 0.001. The one that you really need to take into consideration is the kilo, though, because you usually see that on the speed limit sign, so you need to know what to follow. Please be interested, Francesca. This is important for your safety. Lesson 3. We're going to talk about average speed, but first you need to know what is speed. Speed is motion in a direction per unit of time. Velocity is motion in a specific direction. Speed can be in any direction, whereas velocity is only in one. Now, Frankie, what is this?
A car.
Good job. But what are these?
Various
What
cars.
does it demonstrate?
The car is moving.
A strobe. Nice job, Francesca. Okay. Do you know what strobes are used for? They're used to show like how a car is moving. In this strobe, what do you think is happening? Is it moving fast or slow, or is it accelerating, decelerating? It's constant. The distance between each of the three is the same, so it's constant. But wait, how do you calculate average speed?
I'm assuming with the formulas you've written on the board.
Nicely done. Have you ever seen this circle before?
Yes.
It's a formula circle. Do you like using that circle?
Yes.
Don't use it. It's stupid.
No.
Bad. Learn the actual formula the way it is. And what is that formula? Average speed equals distance traveled over time elapsed. Learn it because it's important. You're going to need to use it in the future. Okay. Lesson 4. This is where things start getting serious because this is where acceleration comes into play and we really need to be serious about that. Acceleration is the change in velocity over a change in time. You accelerate to speed up or to slow down. It's a change. So when you're driving, you need to know that you need to slow down when you're catching up to somebody in front of you, if you're on a 2-lane road, or if you're going to pass somebody, you need to go a lot faster to get around them. Or if you're going to go around a turn, you need to slow down because if you go too fast, spoiler alert, we're about to learn about this later, centripetal force. Okay, I'll tell you about that in a minute. Sorry. But seriously, acceleration is very, very important. You need to. Our 5th lesson is negative acceleration, which has a lot to do with acceleration. But basically what you need to know from this is that when you're going in areas where there's a yellow light or you're in school zones, please be interested, Frankie. I am telling you, Phoebe, whatever your name is, that this is important. When you're in a school zone and you need to slow down, you need to drive slow because if a kid or an animal or anything just pops out in the road in front of you, you could crash and there could be a horrible accident. So it's important to drive slow when you're in certain zones. Decelerate. All right, for our second to last lesson of the day, we're going to talk about how to approach a yellow light, what you should do. Usually, if the intersection is designed properly and it has the proper width and you're going the right speed, you might be able to just go through the light if you're in the go zone. But if you end up a little too far away, you'll be in the stop zone, which means you need to stop and start slowing down because you're not going to make it through. And if you try to go through when you're in the stop zone, there's going to be an accident. But sometimes intersections aren't really designed properly, which can cause problems. It can create either a dilemma zone where there's a space between the stop zone and the go zone and you just don't know what to do because it's probably unsafe to do either. So the best thing to do is just stop. If you're ever unsure, don't go. Or it can create an overlap zone where the dilemma zone and the stop zone and the go zone combine and you don't know what to do either. Frankie, be interested. My gosh. This is for your safety. It's always best to just stop. All right, Francesca? Thank you, Phoebe. All right, for our last lesson of the day, we're going to talk about centripetal force.
Take a closer look at the fascinating physics of this simple action. You've probably heard of Newton's second law of motion as it relates to objects moving in a straight line. Turns out, Newton's second law also tells us about the net force on an object as it moves in a circle. When an object moves in a circle, its velocity changes direction. Since the velocity is changing, that means we have an acceleration. And we know from Newton's second law that if we have an acceleration, we have a net force.